And our girls are blackbirds, riding with they diligence. Kid more than Jeff if you boys really them. Just now we squared up, hold up.
Yo, good morning. How you guys doing? Today? I got two of my guys, special guests in backstage, man. Sorry about the late delay. We normally start an hour earlier, but other than that, we got enough time to get some college football in, man. So we're going to bring on my boy, Live Wild Sports, a.k.a. my guy, Martin. And we're going to bring up a special guest that's going to be on our show today, my man, Chris, man. How you guys doing today, man? Doing this morning?
What's going on, Dante?
What's going on, man?
Man, I'm so excited, man. We got a great slate of college football. We've got a lot of money-making opportunities to share, so I'm excited.
Definitely. Chris, who your squad is?
Man, I'm a Boston College fan. So
Yeah, I already know how that goes right there.
We suck.
Yeah, I already know how that is, man. So, yeah, man. Like, how's life without Zay Flowers? How's life without the man?
It's horrible. Holy Cross, and I live near Holy Cross, and then FBS 4. I'm convinced that Holy Cross is gonna win. Like, it's scary. It's that bad.
I feel you on that one, man. So, yeah, man, we gonna get into some big week 1 games. Coach Prime going for his second victory against Nebraska today. Cam Rising still gonna be out for Utah. How much that will benefit the team, the players that impressed y'all, throughout week 1. We gonna go through some big games today. Gonna recap some. We're going to go through some big games today, pick some predictions. So, overall, week 1, we already know TCU was a 20-point favorite to beat Colorado, and we all know how it ended. Colorado ended up winning the ball game 45-42. The biggest difference of the game, to me, the interception at the goal line that Chandler Morris.
Yeah, that definitely was.
That was a huge part of the game. That was on TCU's first drive of the game, actually, right there when Woods caught that interception. By the way, Woods was probably out of the only two people that stayed in Colorado, pretty much, and he made a big impact. But Sanders. I keep calling this goddamn dude Stevenson. But other than that. It was a lot of speculation. How's he gonna go from Jackson State to Colorado? How's he gonna perform? Well, we saw it. It was no problem. Like 7-on-7 football out there. He was hitting the receivers open. Making some tough plays, scrambling up out of the pocket, making plays. All the receivers had over 100 yards, and there was some also speculation how that dude Travis Hunter was gonna play, and we already know how dominant he was on both sides of the ball. So, Martin, your first impression on the Colorado Buffs winning the game 45-42, and was it more good Colorado Buffs or bad TCU?
I don't want to minimize what Colorado did. TCU did brought seven return starters back, so I mean, to me, that's not really an excuse. I think the difference between with TCU is the quarterback, because the quarterback that they started this season was the quarterback that started last year, and he got hurt. And then we already know what happened with I can't call the dude name right now.
Max Dugan.
Max Dugan. What he did when he got his opportunity. So with that being said, Colorado, I mean, for what I seen, TCU still has a nice squad. You know what I'm saying? Because the game could have gone any way, but Colorado did what Colorado did. Nobody expect, and they took the opportunities that was given to them. Shador Stevens. I mean, you got me calling Shador Stevenson now. Shador Sanders. He played that game like a NFL quarterback. He didn't play like a rookie. He didn't play like, even though we seen him at Jackson State, but just for him learning from Tom Brady, training with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and all of them, you can see the maturity of this guy, how he just command the pocket, how he moved when he needed to move, his passing ability, pinpoint accuracy. A lot of people say that Colorado don't have a defense, but their defense stepped up when it's needed. All you have to do is make a play. You ain't got to be as dominant where you shut people out. Something it might come later on in the year. Who knows? We don't know what Colorado is going to become. But for what I see for Colorado, they not to be taken lightly. That's one thing I can say. You're not just going to be saying, okay, well, these guys can't play, or well, Oregon put out 81 points. They're not going to beat Oregon. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
We already see what Deion Sanders can do from high school to HBCU school, and you already see what he's doing right now at the college level in his first game. To me, I hate to say it for Nebraska, it's not going to even be pretty for them today. I mean, the thing about it is, Deion Sanders is on a mission, and he's going to take everybody's best punch, but he's definitely going to give his best punch back. So for what I'll take away from Colorado, they only going to get better as the season go on.
Yep, like I said, I think people are overreacting on Colorado. Well, you're going to overreact when you're supposed to get beat by 20. So, hey,
exactly.
You're supposed to be getting beat by 20. So, hey, we'll find out. We'll find out and see against Nebraska. So, Chris, so we've been hearing a lot of excuses about TCU. I mean, they lost a lot of players. We know they lost a lot of players, but we also know some players are still there. Saden Williams is still there. He was on that championship team last year. They even got JoJo Early from the transfer portal. They got that 5-star recruit, Trey Sanders. They ended up pulling him from Alabama. So give me your reaction on Coach Prime. By the way, they supposed to got beat by 20 last weekend, and they ended up winning the game by 3. So give me your reactions on the game last week. What did you like about that game that Colorado actually played?
So I'll start off by saying the obvious. Las Vegas has not adjusted to the transfer portal at all.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. I don't think they pay attention. I don't think they study. A lot of people look at trends from the previous years, and they don't realize, like, teams change year to year. The turnover in college football is more than ever. One guy I think that we don't give enough love to is Dylan Edwards. I mean, freshman running back, 4 touchdowns. That was incredible, watching him do his thing. I think Colorado is for real. I'm all in on Colorado. I took them on the money line. I was like, I'm not even worried because I know Coach Prime is going to pull it out at home in Boulder. They're going to shock a lot of people. The staff he put together down there, Urban Meyer was talking about it. They're so focused. They're so ready. You watch clips. They moved on to the next game 24 hours ago. Having that mindset with all the hype around them, it's going to work out for them in the long run, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Good take right there, Mr. Chris. He said defense, they still gave up 42 points, Mike said. But, yeah, they gave up 42 points against TCU. TCU is a good, actually, somebody that's very good offensively. I mean, like I just named half of the players that was on that team. You got Saden Williams, who was on the championship winning team. You still got Drew Whaley, who was on the team last year as well.
Exactly.
And you pull some guys, they pull guys from the transfer portal. Trey Sanders was a 5-star recruit in Alabama, and they was able to pull him from Alabama. So the team was still actually good. TCU, we all can agree TCU doesn't have the best defense, but this is a team that was supposed to won by 20. Won by 20. That means that a lot of people didn't give Coach Prime an opportunity. But another thing I wanted to get to, I'm gonna start with you on this one, Chris. Do you have a problem? A lot of people has a problem with Deion Sanders in his press conference when he told the guy, "Do we believe now? Do we believe now?" Because he was a lot of people from his own program didn't even believe they can go in there and get a victory. Do you have a problem with that press conference right there for what he was saying?
Not at all. I mean, Deion is him. When you're him, you can say whatever you want. He went out, he proved it, he won the game. If any other coach said that, any other program, it would be all right. But because Deion did it, because Deion is flashy, because he does things the unconventional way, it's wrong for him to say. I love what Deion's doing. Deion's not only empowering the world of young football coaches, but he's also empowering, people around the country to stand up for what they believe in and have confidence in themselves. We live in a society nowadays where if you have confidence in yourself and if you show belief, you're cocky. But it's not like that, and Deion's a great example of that.
Got you. Martin?
Yeah. The one thing that Chris just pointed to, Deion doesn't do it the conventional way, the old way, like how coaches supposed to act in college football. If you look at Mario Cristobal, him and Deion Sanders just alike. Mario does it his same way. You know what I'm saying? He might not as outspoken like Deion is, but I'll look at Mario Cristobal and I see Deion Sanders same way. So I like what Deion does. People fellas into today's society get ruffled for every little thing. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, like Deion said, people are uncomfortable because you see a black man sitting up here talking his talk, walking his walk, and proving it on a daily basis. I even got guys at my job when we was talking, like I'm not a Colorado fan, but I'm all for what Deion is doing. You know what I'm saying? But it's exciting for me because I want to follow him. I followed him when he was at Jackson State. A lot of people say, "Oh, they don't like Deion Sanders." What the Colorado ain't gonna do this. I told people the day when I got back to work, I said, Colorado gonna win 9 games. I had everybody coming after me, want to bet me, talk about, well, how they gonna win 9 games. I said, well, apparently you don't believe. I said, it's been facts that a team has went from worst to first or went from worst to better their squad the following season. I said, it's been history been shown. I said, Deion Sanders believes in his team. He knows his team. He knows what he has. And if this man go out here and make statements, you already know he's going to back it up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They already compared him to Nick Saban. Nick Saban goes out there every year. He don't even have the best squad. Guess what he does? Continue to win.
Yep.
So just to sit there and knock Deion Sanders, I think is outlandish. But I do commend Deion because, matter of fact, going back to that interview real quick, Ed Warner, the ESPN reporter, he was on Dan Patrick's show and he was talking about it. And see, I listen to these sports shows every morning. So Ed Warner said, well, him and Deion never had the best history, but he said that Deion asked him, do he believe? And he said that he saw something that he wrote. And Ed Warner said, well, I didn't write nothing. And he was like, I was not going to say I believe something that I have not seen a body of work. I say, it doesn't matter. I say, he's talking about one game. Did you now you believe? He didn't talk about a whole entire season. He just talked about one game because everybody picked Colorado to lose.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing about this, like I said, like Chris just mentioned, and I'm mentioning it, I don't have no problem with Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders is a winner. He did it in the NFL. He did it when he was with the NFL Network. He just has a strong personality and he expects excellence and he holds everybody accountable, even himself. So you can't want somebody like him just to be say everything politically correct just to defeat the the reporters so they can write a story. If you don't want to write what he's saying, then you don't need to be a reporter.
Yeah, and again, just like you mentioned it, you and Chris mentioned, this is a team again supposed to get beat by 20. They're supposed to get slaughtered in this game, and they fought won it. We're not saying they're going to win a national title. We're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Exactly.
We're saying they have a chance to make a bowl game. With a win today, they're already better than what they were last year.
Exactly.
They're already better. They're already better than what they won last year. But for Coach Prime, you think winning 2 goddamn games, you think he's going to accept that? No, he's not going to accept that because the team is better than them 2 games already, but they are.
Yeah.
You don't think they can beat Colorado State? They can dog walk Colorado State. They may lose to Oregon. They may lose to USC. Arizona State, they can beat Arizona State. Stanford, they can beat Stanford. They can beat up on Stanford. UCLA, they can beat UCLA now. They can beat them. Oregon State, I got them losing that game. Arizona, they can beat Arizona. Washington State, they can go in there and beat Washington State. Utah, I don't got them beating Utah. So you looking at about like 9 games right now. About like 9 games right there that can easily win. Including if they somehow find someone to beat Utah, Oregon, or even USC, whose defense is not good at all.
Yeah,
not good at all.
I actually have them beating USC at home this year, right after they play Oregon. I think they're gonna lose to Oregon and Eugene.
Okay.
And I think they're gonna come back at home and they're gonna beat USC. And I think that division is gonna come down to between them and Utah at the end of the year.
Yep.
And if Cam Rising do not play for Utah,
it's a good chance they can beat Utah if he don't play.
Yep, that's what I'm telling you. Dante, you know this just as well as do. You've been knowing each other for about a year now, and we talk sports, and we've been doing a lot of great things. People don't understand when a team has momentum, when a team has that it factor for them, it's hard to beat a team like that. Colorado, and I'm saying this because I see the same thing in my Commanders. I'm telling you, when I feel something strongly, and I can feel it, it's a whole excitement. Yeah. When you have that excitement that you never had before, and you got guys that really, really wants to play for you and run to the wall for you, that means your team is going to have one of the best years they ever had because they got a momentum factor that they riding right now. Travis Etienne told his brother, he said, things don't work out at Florida, go to Colorado.
Yeah.
So you know right now, there'll probably be about 20 people ready to jump through the transfer portal right now to go play for Deion.
You ain't lying. So, Chris, your final thoughts up on that game last week. Your final thoughts.
So I got into an argument with someone this week, and I'm like, if I was a recruit and I had to pick between Georgia and Colorado, I'm going with Coach Prime.
Yep.
His knowledge, I know people will say that's crazy, but his knowledge is so much more valuable. What he can teach you about life, and Travis Hunter talks about it all the time. Coach taught me so much about life, helped me build me into a man. Down south, that's something I'm going to school and getting developed. You look at Georgia, they had 13 players.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Prime, none. And I know Coach Prime is just there. I promise you, Coach Prime will have maybe one because of the type system. He has a culture, he has everything. But I'm not ever going to Coach Prime. Ever.
Yeah, Coach Prime, man, I'm telling y'all, he gonna pull people from Alabama and Georgia. He gonna pull some of those guys. He's like that. So last week, Chris, I'm gonna start this one with you. We saw Florida State laid a smackdown on LSU. I know the game was to be close, but they dominated. LSU went down on the first drive. I don't think they didn't get in the end zone on the first drive. Florida State stops them. But Keon Coleman having a solid game. This defense was all over Jaden Daniels. Jordan Travis looked absolutely phenomenal, actually in the ball game. Jaden Daniels had 346 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interceptions, and he also was the leading rusher. He's also was the leading rusher. Brian Thomas was his leading receiver at seven catches, 142 yards in the tub. But Jordan Travis, just on the other side, Jordan Travis had 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 touchdowns, or 1 interception. And Keon Coleman, though, Keon Coleman, not 122 yards, nine catches, 3 touchdowns for Keon Coleman. Did you expect the smackdown whooping like this from Florida State? And what do you think about Florida State right now?
So when I did my top 10 polls, I went through and I looked and I put Florida State at number 2 in the country.
Okay.
Everyone was like, "Man, you're overreacting." I'm like, "No, Florida State is for real this year." Look at the defense they brought in. They want to win now. And LSU, I like LSU. I like Brian Kelly. But why? When you said, "Oh, we're going to go to Florida State," is before the season that got no attention. So
Yeah.
Prime, stepped on soil. It got all the attention. It's funny to me because Brian Kelly should be held accountable too. Talking bad about Florida State like that.
Mm-hmm.
He got humbled. The team got humbled. Now it's back to the drawing board, and I'm really excited for this game today. I know it's going to be a blowout, but I love my HBCU schools, so I'm hoping Grambling State can keep it close.
All right, Martin, go ahead and tell us about the whooping that Florida State put on LSU.
Well, since Chris is a Boston College fan, he's from the ACC, and I'm a Miami fan from the ACC, so we have a lot in common, especially when talk about ACC rivals and watching them play. I did not expect Florida State to beat LSU like that. I did give LSU the win in a small margin, and I actually thought that LSU was going to hang with them a little bit, but the one mistake that Brian Kelly made, he moved his linebacker into pass coverage. That was a no-no. You should have put your linebacker to move Travis out of the way, make him uncomfortable. Travis sat back there all day just connecting like it was. I mean, this dude, if we didn't have great games from Caleb Williams and Shador Sanders and all of these other quarterbacks, he probably would have been the Heisman favorite right then and there, the first game of the season.
Yep.
I mean, he was just sitting back there like, I got all day. No pressure, no pressure on this dude at all. And then, Florida State defense is legit.
Yeah.
It's really legit. And I always the Florida State Miami game, it always come down to these two, especially no matter how good these teams are, they play sound defense and they low scoring, even though Florida State got the best of us last year really bad. But I see Florida State winning the ACC, getting into the college playoffs. They get into the college playoffs. I don't even think Georgia going to be able to deal with their defense because they ain't going to be like TCU. You got a team that really can play defense. And Florida State is, for them been wanting to get out of the ACC, they didn't want Cal and all of them to come in there. And if they go and win a national championship, you know what I'm saying, that's going to even make a bigger statement on the ACC to do something better, to bring more money to the table, to keep them in there because Florida State values themselves. And then you got to think about it. The ACC in last week had 5.1 million viewers, more than double what they had last year. And that's because Duke beat Clemson and Florida State handled them. Now, if Miami tops that today over A&M, now Jim Fuller's going to have his work cut out. He's like, okay, I got 3 of the top teams, 2 of the top teams, beating these top 10 teams and looking good. So hats off to Mike Norvell in Florida State right now. I do want to see them do it. I think they're going to beat Clemson. I got them a slight edge over Miami, but I still, like I said, I do got them winning the ACC. It depends on how far they go, if injuries or whatever don't take them out, But they're really strong. So, but Brian Kelly got what he deserved because he was talking trash.
Yep. And the way Florida State look right now, and the way Clemson look, that look like Florida State will steamroll them in a heartbeat. The way they look. And speaking of that game, Martin, you just brought it up. 28-7 smackdown whooping by Duke. Duke upsets Clemson, number 9 Clemson. If it wasn't for the botch, the fumble that was on the punt, they would have been Clemson would have been shut out. So a lot of people blaming Dabo Sweeney, but it looks bad on him because his quarterback ain't play well at all. But you look closely at the game. You had a blocked field goal that was blocked. You had a missed 23-yard field goal that the field goal kicker shanked it left. That's the extra point of the NFL. If you can't make a 23-yard field goal, then something is wrong with you. You don't need to be kicking a football. You don't need to be kicking a field goal if you can't make a 23-yarder. Get back down to the goal line. Cade Klubnik fumbles the ball. Get it right back. The defense get it right back. They go down the field. Phil Neville fumbles the football. So you had 2 fumbles at the goal line. You had basically 2 missed field goals. So execution down the stretch wasn't there down the stretch. Execution wasn't there down the stretch for it. But other than that, defense looked like they got worn out because they was on the field. But Martin, what happened to Clemson? What happened to Clemson in that game?
What happened to them?
Yeah, what happened to Clemson?
They thought that they was going to go in there and beat Clemson like they always do, coast through these games, not playing, taking these opponents seriously. And I think it caught up to them. And also, I think one of the key things is I think Dabo Sweeney not pulling guys out of the transfer portal, kind of neglected that to build that squad up, kind of hurt them a little bit. Yeah, they got Shipley and all of that. But if you put a 7-man box and stop the run on Clemson and force K to beat them, Clemson will probably lose a lot of their games. I got them losing at least 4 to 5 games this year. Because I don't think that Clemson is really good. I don't see Clemson made any improvement. And you can't say it was DJ's fault now because DJ is in Oregon State. So everybody was talking about how good Cade is. He looked inept. He looked confused. He didn't know where he wanted to go with the ball. I think the score could have been more if Duke really had an offense, like a really good offense that could put points up on every opportunity they had. That score could have been a little bit worse than what it was. I don't even know what happened to Clemson defense. I don't know what, and they're supposed to have a good defensive unit this year. So my thing is that Dabo need to get with the times if he wants to stay relevant. Because guess what? If Clemson leave and go to the SEC, they're gonna be a doormat. They're gonna be a doormat, and teams are gonna roll over them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be down there. They're going to be in the middle of the pack like where South Carolina is, Vanderbilt, all them teams, and you're not going to be able to compete. So, like, we talked about how Dion is involving, making a change with his teams. I'm going to tell you, Dion put a blueprint out there. Now I'm going to see how many coaches take that blueprint and turn their squad around. You know what I'm saying? So, for Clemson, I think this is a bad year for them. I don't see I mean, they might be some of these little cupcake games that they got on their schedule, but honestly, they're gonna lose to Clemson. I mean, they're gonna lose to Notre Dame. They're gonna lose to Florida State. I think they're gonna lose to North Carolina. I already said they'll lose to Miami, but now it's more than evident Miami gonna beat them. You know what I'm saying? So, what are we looking at? And then, Chris, do Clemson on y'all schedule this year?
I believe so. We play them later.
And Boston College always play Clemson tough. NC State plays them tough. So this year is not a year for Clemson to really, really look bad, because right now it's bad for them.
Yeah, but like I don't want to too much blame the defense because offense had opportunities and they didn't take advantage of those opportunities at the goal line. I think the defense would have been fine if they stayed off the field a lot. But other than that, they did give up 28.
Yeah.
They did give up 28 points. They did give up 28 points, and it's hard to stop a team. It's hard to stop a team when you constantly get on the field when your offense is throwing the ball away in the red zone and giving the ball away in the red zone. So it's gonna
Most definitely.
any defense. It's going to be hard for any defense for that. But that offense looks bad. Outside of the running game, that offense looks terrible. That offense is poor. And right now, the way they play, Chris, Boston College may be able to beat them. The way they play, they may be able to beat them. So, Chris, give me your reactions on Duke smacking Clemson.
I mean, you guys basically said it. I mean, Dabo hasn't adjusted to time. He's so focused on. He doesn't understand when college football is changing, you have to change with it.
Yep.
That's the way it is. NIL and transfer portal. And honestly, I used to be against the transfer portal, and I still am. But I understand it's actually balanced out so much. If you look across the country, and like Texas State, they went up and they beat Baylor last week. That would never be possible if it wasn't for the transfer portal. Never. So, I mean, it says a lot, and honestly, my Boston College Eagles are having trouble adjusting at times because they should be looking at junior colleges. They should be looking at, there's some good D2 schools in the area. They need to be adjusting the transfer portal, but they're not. They're so stuck on building with the guys they have. UMass did it. UMass went out and got a transfer quarterback from Clemson and Georgia Tech.
Yep.
I mean, look how good he's doing, right?
Yep.
With UMass. Like, now UMass is able to actually – I'm a UMass fan too. So, watching that team last year, they couldn't get past the 50-yard line. It was so bad, so bad. But now it's like the transfer portal saved the program as a whole.
He said they couldn't even get past a 50 got dirty y'all 50 got dirty y'all line. That's crazy. That's something. So again, we got the last game, big game we're gonna talk about is North Carolina versus South Carolina. I think we did preview this game, Martin, last week, and we did go for South Carolina, which is South Carolina. Did get beat. They gave up 9 sacks. How the hell you give up 9 sacks? How do you give up 9 sacks against North Carolina, a team that doesn't play any type of defense? But I guess South Carolina was just that bad. That offensive line was just that bad. That game, Drake May did not have. He had an okay game, but not a great game. Not a great game at all. 2 interceptions, 269 yards. He was very accurate though. He was very efficient though. You had Britton Brooks running for over 100 yards for UNC. So, Chris, your reactions to North Carolina getting the win, 31-17 over Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina Gamecocks.
I've been hearing all this talk about Spencer Rattler, how he's supposed to be a first-round pick. I heard that a year ago. I heard that the year before. So, this year I want to believe, third time a charm, that he's supposed to be a first-round pick.
Yep.
I think he has the talent. Obviously you can't win when you're a bad offensive line, but what is he going to do at this point, right? He kind of has to work with what he has. I don't know. I think if I'm wrong, if you transfer a second time, you have to sit out of it. I don't know if that's the rule for upperclassmen or only for underclassmen. I'm pretty sure, like, if he was to transfer and go somewhere else, he would have to sit out a year. So he can't risk that. He can't. This is honestly probably his last year in college football. It's all going to depend on, how is he going to be mobile? How is he going to find ways? And with the front 5 like they have, it's just so bad. It's so bad, and I question sometimes, how are these guys SEC linemen? Drake May, on the other hand, those 2 interceptions are kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
He's super talented. Drake May is going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, of course.
All he has to do is those easy games. He just has to run up the numbers, get 4 to 5 touchdowns in those easy games, make the stats look good. Finish with I don't know, 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. As long as
Yep.
he does that, he'll be good. But those 2 picks, they were just bad reads. They were
Yeah.
really bad reads. I mean, he's trying to force the ball, trying to do too much.
Yep.
He has to just play clean, but he'll clean that up for sure.
Gotcha. Martin.
Just like we talked about Clemson, how bad they look on offense, South Carolina look just as worse. North Carolina don't have a defense, but I think Matt Brown has something to prove because one of their star wide receivers was eligible for that game. So that probably has some effect on Drake May a little bit. But South Carolina with Spencer Rattler, just like Chris was saying that, I kind of felt like Spencer Rattler should have went to the Pac. He would have probably, if he went to the Pac, he would have been in an offensive system where he could like really put up some guarding numbers and helped his draft stock a little bit better. South Carolina, yeah, they need talent down there, but I don't see where they helped him, especially on the offensive line. The offensive line is bad. South Carolina is going to struggle all year, and Spencer Rattler is going to look like the worst quarterback if he came out of college. He probably won't get drafted until like late fourth round. So if he decides that he want to come out or stay back one more year or sit out all year and do whatever, it's up to him. But South Carolina didn't do Spencer Rattler no favor. I was a fan of Spencer Rattler when he was over there in Oklahoma. But the thing about it is he played bad there and got his job taken by Caleb Williams. Yep. So I really don't know what's going to be his. I don't know. Must be going to have to take a special offensive coordinator he's probably kind of like that Baker Mayfield route right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but South Carolina, if they going to really want to be some kind of relevant, they going to have. It don't matter what kind of quarterback you get. If you don't get that offensive line and the defensive line better to play teams, to pick up wins, yeah, you got past Clemson last year for the first time in a long time. So how can you actually expect talent to come there if you're not really putting nothing around him to go? The transfer portal is making it easy for teams to build. You know what I'm saying? You just got to go out there and recruit, and just to make sure that it is going to be beneficial for you. But and then North Carolina standpoint, I think North Carolina really going to have to do a little bit more offense because their defense is going to, when you play teams that could put up points. Yep. It's going to show a lot. Now I don't know how much they're going to put on Drake May's shoulder, to carry the team. Now he's super talented, and I see the same thing that happened to Sam Howell. Sam Howell had all his weapons, and he was supposed to be a top 5 pick. As soon as he lost his weapons, he dropped in the draft. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if that same situation is going to happen to Drake May in North Carolina, where he going to have to figure out, Matt Brown going to have to figure out, we're going to have to find different ways to help this young quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Because if his stock, if he's projected to be in the top on the first round draft pick and his stock drops because he don't have weapons, I don't know how talented is. Now people just really starting to figure out how talented Sam Howell is. Sam Howell been doing the same thing for when he was in college. So I don't know. I think North Carolina, they probably be. I'm not putting over on my Miami Hurricanes to be the second best team in the conference. I think they're up there, probably about 1, 2A, 2B. But North Carolina gonna have to show a little bit more, because none of their schedule. I think they got Notre Dame on the schedule. And today I got them on upset alert with Appalachian State.
Got you. What's good, J-Dub? J-Dub in the building. Shout out to you, one of my favorites personally. But no, we're not talking about the Titans today. We talk that will be tomorrow when we get in the NFL. So we're not talking about the Titans, J-Dub. So thank you for coming in, though. That's a blessing. But we're gonna talk about Florida State had a statement win. We already gave us a recap on the game, gave a recap on that game, what happened. But will they be undefeated? Will they be undefeated going into the ACC title game, or do you see any team out there the way they put that shellacking on LSU? Chris, do you see any team in the ACC that can at least beat them? Do you think they will at least have a loss going into the ACC championship? Do you think they will have a loss on their record at that point? Do you see anybody in the ACC beat them?
I'm looking at the schedule right now. The only person that I think has a chance to beat them is Miami on November 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, next week I'm in BC. I hope to be at that game. That's going to be, on ABC. It's going to be a nationally televised game. It's going to be so hype. It's the red bandana game, too. So the fact that BC doing the red bandana game so early says a lot about how desperate they are. I think Miami is really the only team that can beat Florida State, but that's not even it won't even be close. I think they're going undefeated, to be honest.
Chris, I don't want to see you come on here and stressed out if Boston College get beat the way they do. I don't want. I saw Martin stressed out so many times last year. It's a shame. I had to clear him up. I hope I'll see that see you stressed out coming on next week, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm here for you, Chris. Don't worry about it, man. Martin, do you see any team giving Florida State a problem, or are they the clear front runners of the ACC, or do you see them going undefeated? Martin, you there? Okay, he muted right now. So Cam Rising is hurt. Chris, he was out last week versus Florida. They beat Florida. They still beat Florida by 13, and they didn't even play their best game. They still beat them by 13. How much of an impact that Cam Rising? Oh, you bet, Martin.
Yeah, so it's kind of like blurring in.
All right, so who has a chance to beat Florida State? Will they be undefeated, or will they have a loss? Will they have a loss? How many losses they will have, or do you see them being the clear front runners to win the ACC? Martin?
Yeah, I'm here. I got you.
All right. Do you see Florida State? Go ahead.
I don't think they'll go undefeated. I still think that Miami game is crucial because that's a rivalry game. Now, if Clemson was to get it together, but I don't see Clemson beating them either. I think it's going to come down to that Miami Florida State game, like Chris said, because that's a rivalry game, and I know for sure because Miami plays Texas A&M. If Miami goes in, they got Texas A&M at home. If Miami beats Texas A&M today, and they don't play nobody else until they play North Carolina, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that means they'll be 5-0, possibly 6-0, whatever the case may be. If Miami is rolling and they handle this game Saturday with confidence and beat them, and by that time Miami should be in full gear, I think that's going to be a game that's for the division, and then possibly a rematch in the ACC championship game.
Gotcha. So, Chris, Cam Rising, how big of a loss of Cam Rising being out? He's out against Baylor again. We know, just like you said, Baylor got embarrassed by Texas State. But how big of a loss to Utah, period, without Cam Rising being as the quarterback of the team? Are you concerned about Utah without him playing, without Cam Rising even playing?
I'm concerned for Cam Rising and his NFL draft stock.
Mm-hmm.
He might need to come back to college for another year. unfortunately, with him getting, I mean, if he can't first 2 games of the season, man, missing both of those. Baylor, Blake Shapen is out too. He's out for 3 weeks last time I checked.
Okay.
Down there starting quarterback. They're starting a freshman, redshirt, I believe. So I'm not like his passing stats last week. They put him in the game.
Yeah.
He wasn't too good. I'm going with Utah to win this game, but the spread is 7.5. I'm not even touching the spread in this game. 7.5 for an away team with a backup quarterback is very dangerous for sure.
Got you. Martin.
Man, I got Utah play who, Baylor today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. I got that's an upset for me.
Oh, you picked Baylor?
I think because Baylor could put up points.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That Utah, everybody talks about Utah defense, which is good, but you got to think Utah offense only put up like 20-something points on Florida.
24. Yep.
24 on Florida. You're gonna need more than that to keep up with a Baylor squad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You remember last year when Baylor and K-State was slinging it out?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have. I don't care how good your defense is, and we just talked about this. If your offense ain't putting up points and your defense is out on that field longer than it needs to be, it's going to open up opportunities for offense to put points on you. So Cam Rising is a concerning because he can, him in the offense will be able to do different things. When you got another quarterback or backup quarterback, freshman quarterback, whatever in the game, then you got to do things a little bit differently than you normally would do with your starter in there. So how Utah handled this game, the best thing they can do is rely on their defense, control the clock, and put points on the board when they get in the red zone. If they allow Baylor to run up and down the field, it's going to be a long day. So that's why I got them on my upset alert.
Got you. So we headed into the tail end before we get into our predictions on the big time games. Chris, give me a player last week that really impressed you so far. Give me a player that you caught your eyes on and impressed you in week 1 of college football. Give me a player that impressed you.
Emory Jones from the University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
150 yards, 7 total touchdowns. He went under the radar. I know it's maybe tough, but Emory, man, from Florida, he was supposed to be the next big thing there, and he finally finds that.
Got you. Shout out to you, Chris, man. That's a hell of a pick right there. Go ahead, Martin. Give me a player that impressed you.
You know what I'm about to say. Shador Sanders, man, 510 yards passing, no interceptions, 4 touchdowns. His team had 4 receivers over 100 yards. So I can't say enough about this young man. He's only gonna get better. His Heisman start gonna get better because he's battling Caleb Williams. And even though Caleb Williams had some splash plays and stuff, but the numbers for Shador is remarkable. And if Shador puts up almost a similar type of numbers today, there is no way in the world that he's not at least because you got to think, if he puts up astonishing numbers against Nebraska, that means Caleb Williams going to have to put up numbers to match his, you know what I'm saying, to keep pace. Yeah. So I just think that right now Shador has the recipe for success, and he's my player of the week for last week.
Yeah. So I got his teammate Travis Hunter. He didn't do it on one side of the ball. He did it on both sides of the ball. I mean, you talking about him being able to play cornerback and playing able to receive it for a whole game. 120 snaps. That's a lot of snaps. That's a lot of snaps. And to have be in shape and to play like that on both sides of the ball, not only go out there and make some big plays on offense, but locking down a wide receiver as well. Just being able to lock down a wide receiver. And all of a sudden, he caught probably the biggest interception of the game. The biggest interception of the game. Which if he stays on his feet, that's going to the house. That ball is going to the house if he finds some balance and stays on his feet. But he did. Him and Woods had the game changers plays of the game, of both of that game. That interception was awesome that he took out of the out, and for him to play 120 snaps again and be able to be effective on the offensive side of the ball and lock down a receiver. That shows you somehow good that guy gonna be. Now when he goes to the NFL, I think they're gonna make him play one position. I think they're gonna make him play fit to one position. But this is a question before we go in our picks. Chris, when he goes to the NFL, he's gonna be in the NFL. It's gonna be a top pick in this class. What position do you think he will fit? He will play better at, receiver or the cornerback position? If you had to guess? What would they put him at? What are they gonna classify him at? What spot they're gonna classify him as?
That's hard. The NFL nowadays, athletes like Cordell Patterson play one side of the ball. I'm gonna go with cornerback.
I said the same thing. Yep.
Okay, so and then I guess they could work him in a receiver like they did with Dion a little bit. You know how they worked him in that offense. They'll have him play both ways to a certain extent. He'll probably have like 90% on defense and play a little bit. They'll have certain packages for him on offense.
Gotcha. Martin, well, in the NFL, what do you think? What do you think he should play more, corner or wide receiver?
I think he could play both, but I think they're gonna put him at corner. But I do see them doing the Devin Hester route with him. Have him do some punt returns, kickoff returns, and playing cornerback also. And then they might have a package for him on offense, bubble screens or jet sweeps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do see him. I mean, honestly, I'll just call him a specialist. You know what I'm saying?
Feels right now.
I mean, because that's what he's going to be. But I think he's going to get drafted as a cornerback, but then they're going to find a ways to incorporate his skills in other positions. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, because you think about it. Dallas has Trayvon Diggs, but they don't use him as wide receiver. They use him more as a cornerback. You know what I'm saying? And I think Dallas could create a package for him to utilize his skills both ways to help them out. But I ain't trying to help Dallas out anyway because I don't even like them. So you know what I mean? But I do see Travis Hunter, playing both ways and, doing some things for offense and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yep. So we're going to get in our picks and predictions. Right now. So, again, we're going to go with Ball State goes into Georgia. Chris, who you got winning this game?
Oh, Georgia. And I think they're going to cover the spread, too, 42.
All right, gotcha. Martin, who you going with?
Man, Georgia all day, man. Hey, trust me. If Ball State was to upset Georgia, right now, everybody's bets would be like shattered. So yeah, Georgia, and yeah, they'll cover. They'll probably score 50.
Youngstown State, Ohio State. Ohio State didn't play great last week, but Chris, do you see them playing great this week? You see them their offense? Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, Kyle McCord is going to solidify himself as quarterback one.
Got you. They are. That's a good point. They are having a quarterback competition a little bit up there, and good job right there, Chris. Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, Ohio State didn't look impressive last week that I was expecting them to do. With the quarterback competition that's going on up there. I still see them playing conservative a little bit, just doing enough to win the game. To especially when they start getting into conference play, because you know how that goes. Anybody, especially in the Big Ten, everybody shows up to play, especially So I think Ohio State gonna have to make a statement today, regardless of who's quarterback or what they trying to do, test out whatever they plan on doing. They're gonna have to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? You got one of the best wide receivers in the nation right now, and you're gonna have to blow somebody out. So say, okay, yeah, wait, now this is the guy or who we could go with next week.
All right. So we got Delaware versus Penn State. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the way Drew Aller played in his first career game was insane. I hope Drew Aller gets 5 to 6 touchdowns this game.
Got you. All right, Martin.
Well, they picked Penn State to be the team that comes out of that conference. They was talking about how Penn State should be, the TCU of this year. So I still need to see a little bit more of them because they got Ohio State and Michigan on their schedule. So that's not going to be easy. But I got Penn State winning this game, though.
Got you. All right. So we get to two big ones right here. Notre Dame goes into NC State. So we already know Notre Dame is losing to always used to losing to a game they don't supposed to win. NC State can be pretty tough at home. We all know that. But is it the year Notre Dame breaks that trend? Chris, will they go into NC State and beat NC State?
Yes, only because NC State has Brennan Armstrong quarterback. I liked Brennan Armstrong first year when he was at Virginia. Really good grad. I like UConn. I won't say I'm a UConn fan, but I watched a lot of UConn games. We played NC State last week, so and they only won by 10 points.
Yep.
Beating by only 10 points. So no, Notre Dame is still winning.
Gotcha. All right, go ahead, Martin.
I got Notre Dame winning this game because of Sam Hartman. He was in the ACC last year. He's familiar with playing against NC State, so I see Notre Dame, improving on they ain't played, since Army or Navy, and but I think they gonna come out, play. I expect NC State to play a little bit better. They didn't play great last week either, but I don't see them beating Notre Dame though.
All right, so we got so I'll also look out for my guy, man, Jalen Greyhound. Number 19, Jalen Greyhound, number 19 for Notre Dame. That's my guy. Watch that guy personally play wide receiver. Had 2 touchdowns versus Army. Jalen Greyhound, look out for him in this game against NC State. The wide receiver from Notre Dame, just a true freshman. He just only a true freshman. But we got Utah, number 12, Utah without Cam Rising going to Baylor. As Chris mentioned, Baylor had an embarrassing loss against who that, Chris, again? Texas State, wasn't it? Gotcha. Do Baylor convince you at home that they can beat Utah doing to their shenanigans against Texas State? Are you sold on Utah today? Chris, who you going with in this game?
So Texas State is not that bad of a team. I know people sleep on them, but their quarterback TJ Finley, SEC experience on LSU and Auburn. I think they won't beat Utah, but I think Utah will get the upper hand. I think it's going to be a lot closer than 7 points, though.
Gotcha. Good point right there. Martin, this your upset pick right here. Who you got?
Yeah, this my upset pick. I'm still sticking with it. I'm going with Baylor because Baylor does, even though they be having a little unnecessary losses, they know how to come back and they can put points on teams. So Utah's defense is good, but the quarterback situation still doesn't convince me yet. Only putting 24 points up on Florida. I think Baylor, even though Baylor doesn't play great defense, they play just enough. But Doom being at home and able to move the ball efficiently, I'm gonna give them the slight edge in this one.
Yep. And by the way, NC State is my upset pick over Notre Dame today. NC State is my upset pick over Notre Dame today. So, good point right there. Good point right there, Martin. I do got to have an upset, at least a couple of them in college. I do always do that. My boy Cool come in the building, man. Oh, look at my guy Jake the Snake. Look, hey, Bobby, what's up, man? Them Boston Red Sox stink, man. What's good though? Uh, so
What's up, Cool?
we got Troy going up against Kansas State. Chris, who you going for? Who you got in this game?
This is a potential upset pick for me. I love Troy's quarterback, Gunnar Watson. Super talented. He throws the ball a lot. I'm going Troy to win.
Oh, okay. There go Chris is upset right there. He got Troy going into Kansas State and beating Kansas State, man. Tell you it could happen. Martin, who you going with?
Ooh, that's a oh man, Kansas State and Troy. Ooh, I don't know, man. Kansas State. They shocked me last year. They could have won the Big 12 last year. They had a chance. Can they repeat that success from last year? Well, it starts today. So I'm going with Kansas State.
So we got the game that's just coming on right now. We got Nebraska going to the CU Buffs. Chris, who you got? Who you got in this game?
Well, Akron's a big one right now, and Nebraska looks like they brought like 20,000 of their own fans. Colorado's gonna win this game. I'm so confident in them. I love Dion. They're gonna show the world.
Got you. Martin?
Man, I got Colorado blowing these cats out, man. This ain't gonna be close. It ain't gonna be close at all.
Got you. So we got Charleston going to number 25 Clemson. Clemson then dropped a big turd last weekend. Now they down. They right there on the thick of being a part of the top 25. So do they get their get back? Chris, do they get the get back against Charleston?
Yes, 100%.
All right, got you. Martin, do they get the get back today?
They ain't got no choice. They lose to Charleston, boy. Look at him. I don't want no Clemson fan talking to me for the rest of the season.
All right, we got UNLV going to Michigan. Chris?
So UNLV really impressed me. They have a quarterback battle going on right now, but Doug Brumfield and Madiba. I love Doug Brumfield, the mobile quarterback. That's in the league 11 guy. I followed him for a while, so I think Fred is 37 without Harbaugh. And
half a mile. Keep right at the port. Continue on I-85 north. US 29 north.
Gotcha.
Signs for Interstate 85
Martin?
I-73 south.
Well, there's one quarterback nobody really talking about. Is the quarterback for McNamara from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The dude continued to play lights out.
Keep right at the port.
He's keeping.
I-85 business loop north.
He keeps Michigan rolling. Michigan is the team to beat. I think that I do have them
on Interstate 85 north for 6 miles.
On national championship path. There should be no problem with them winning this game today.
All right, so we got a great game going up right here. We got Ole Miss going to Tulane, number 24 Tulane. Chris, who you got? Who you getting in this game?
Well, now I did not realize this game was at Tulane, so that changed my thought process a little bit. So Jack Starr and Michael Pratt, battle, and Michael Pratt, the way he played against USC last year, did not go down easily. So it's a bit close to me. I got Ole Miss.
Got you. Martin, Ole Miss or Tulane?
Man, when I seen this on the schedule when I was doing my little parlay pick, I was like, man, this is gonna be good. Tulane is good.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but I'm going with the Green Wave.
Got you, got you. All right, here we go, Martin. Here you go, you. We got number 23 A&M, and we have your Miami Hurricanes, the U. All right,
Oh yeah. So
Chris, who you pulling in this game? The U or A&M? Who are you pulling? Chris?
I gotta go, man. My boy went to A&M. He played ball there for 3 years. You know, he's dog. I love A&M quarterback Connor Wide. You know, he had not thrown a single interception in his entire college career. He has like 13 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He does not turn over the ball. Tyler Van Dyke does turn over the ball.
Got you. So, Martin?
good,
Yeah,
great point, Chris. Great point. And I think from what I see from Miami, I'm very, very pleased. Tyler Van Dyke. I don't know. Ever since Rick Lashley left, it seemed like his confidence. But I'm gonna tell you now, if Tyler Van Dyke struggles in this game, we could see Emory Williams comes in, and Emory Williams it is really good. He's very accurate. He can get the ball downfield, and he's very mobile. He might not look mobile, but he is. But I think Miami is going to try to establish the run game. Miami's defense has looked good that first game against Ohio, and I think if they could use that momentum to pressure and get after the quarterback for A&M, they're going to have a great shot. I do want Miami to take some shots down the field, but Tyler Van Dyke gonna have to shake off whatever he got. I don't know if he got a touch of COVID or whatever the heck he got going on with him, but he need to shake it off. Miami needs this game. They need this game big time. So I'm going with Miami with the upset cover 27-20.
All right, so we got two more games, big games that we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and enjoy this first game coming up. So we got my UT Texas Longhorns going into Tuscaloosa to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. Chris, who you picking in this game?
disrespect that Texas gets. They only lost the game last year by 4 points, I believe,
Yep.
with Bryce Young. I mean, Milrow is talented, but that offensive line is still a question. I got Quinn Ewers and Texas Longhorns out.
All right, there we go. We win that. I'm gonna give you credit. Chris, on that. But just remember that. Go ahead, Martin. Who you got winning this game? UT.
I got
Go ahead.
I got Texas because I want Quinn Ewers to get that revenge. They knocked him out of that game, which was a cheap shot last year. Alabama should have been flagged 15-yard penalty on it. They didn't get it. That game was close. Texas had all the momentum last year, and that would have gave Alabama their third loss on the season. So I'm looking for Texas to revenge that loss and beat Alabama this year.
All right, so the last game that we're gonna preview is Stanford. Stanford playing USC tonight. Chris, who you got?
You know, Stanford, their quarterback last week,
Yep.
Chris Scott, kind of surprised me. He played against Hawaii. Hawaii's another team that I love Hawaii's offense. Not a lot of people realize this, but Hawaii's quarterback is #1 in passing yards in the entire country, and their freshman receiver is #1 in receiving yards. That running shoot offense works, but if you can stop it, like, you know, Stanford has some luck against it.
Take exit
I think
223
it's
for
going
US 29 North and US
to win the game by 34.
All right, go ahead, Martin.
Oh man, Stanford beat Hawaii last week. USC didn't really play nobody for 2
Take
weeks.
exit 223.
This gonna be a test. This gonna be a test for USC. Could they win this game? Yeah, they could.
Continue for
But
3 miles.
would it be close? I'm gonna give USC the nod, just a slight nod in this game. I think Keller Williams is too talented enough, and he's been making plays out of his shoelace. You know, here from week back to back weeks. So I think that'll continue. It's going to take a whole lot for Stanford to really slow USC, Caleb Williams and USC down. So I give USC the edge.
Yeah. That is our picks and prediction. This has been a great college show for you guys, for us, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Shout out to Chris, Martin, and Chris. Tell the people they can follow you at.
Yeah, man.
So you can follow me at State Sports Network. I'm on the YouTube page. I do content about every other day, every day. So find me there. I do my weekly betting articles. I have more content dropping. I'm on Twitter at Chris59. My Instagram is Chris524. Send me a message. Drop college football.
Yeah, put all your information in the group chat so I can follow you on everything. Martin, tell the people they can follow you at.
All right, you can find me on YouTube, Livewire Sports Media. You can find me on Twitter, Livewire Sports One, and the Riders Poet. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Livewire Sports. And also, I write articles for the Commanders for Riggles Rag, so I always been dropping articles in my group on Facebook, Livewire. So. And then you can find me here Saturdays chopping it up with the guys, talking college football, and with everybody on Sports Wave Network. So, hey, I'm always around. You can always reach me not 24/7, but most, half of 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm always around. But
Yep. So other than that, y'all know y'all can find me at Coach Dante on YouTube, Coach Dante 31 on Twitter. That Rockets guy, y'all can find me Coach Dante 31 on IG, and also y'all can find me on the Sports Wave Network as well. So as for Coach Dante, as for Chris, as for Martin, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all college football day, man. We up out of here, you guys.
all right.